Coming up next on Hunter News Now, a look at registrations and how advisors are helping students line up classes for the summer and fall.
And the campaign for USG president is heating up. We'll tell you how the candidates are connecting with the student body.
And tips to look your best on Zoom and FaceTime from a celebrity makeup artist. All that and more on Hunter News Now. Welcome to the special edition of Hunter News Now. I'm York Chan.
And I'm Brian Moreno.
As the lockdown continues, we are still reporting from our homes and producing this newscast on Zoom to bring you the latest news about the Hunter community. Financial aid is on the way to our nation's universities and colleges. The federal government is giving $14 billion to higher education to help schools recover from the COVID-19 pandemic. Hunter College will receive $19 million, and at least half of that will be used as emergency financial aid grants for students. However, new guidelines from the U.S. Department of Education say that the international students and undocumented immigrants, including DACA recipients, cannot receive these funds because they do not qualify for federal financial aid. In a statement last week, CUNY Chancellor Felix Matos Rodriguez denounced that new directive, stating that the coronavirus doesn't discriminate and neither should the federal government. Coronavirus or not, CUNY's Professional Staff Congress Union says funding from the federal government is always welcome.
We need every amount of support that we can get, right? We needed federal money before COVID-19 existed.
According to Political, the Education Department says less than 1% of the emergency funds have been distributed to colleges. It says that college leaders have been slow in submitting applications or money allocated in the bill. But colleges that did apply say that they have not received all their funds and that guidelines from the federal government are not clear.
As the spring semester is winding down, students are starting to think about the fall. Hunter News Now reporter Srija Rai is here with some information on registering for fall classes. Srija.
That's right. The fall registration begins from May 5th, and although the Office of Advising have moved online, the advisors are willing and ready to help students choose their classes. It did not take long for Hunter's Office of Advising to move online.
Once we went to remote learning, the Office of Advising didn't skip a beat. So we were up and running with remote advising appointments beginning March 16th. We've already seen over 2,000 students in remote appointments.
With registration starting soon, advisors are ramping up to meet with students like junior Jordi Anaya. He is worried that fall semester classes may still be taught online and does not know what to do.
As a junior, this is the time when I should be thinking about finishing up certain requirements, or I should be thinking about declaring my major. For the fall term, I'm very on the fence about applying for classes, just because I don't want to resume with this online learning because I just feel like it's not the quality education that I'm looking for.
Film and Media Study Advisor Amanda McDonald Crowley is ready to help students weigh their options from her home office.
Students who are concerned about the value of online learning versus the value of learning in a classroom. I really do think that it's going to be personal choices that students need to make and really need to do some serious navel gazing.
The advising office is encouraging students to stay on track and sign up for both summer and fall classes.
My best advice to folks right now is you should do everything to stay engaged, including taking summer classes, because summer school this year, it's different. And we really want to provide an experience and opportunity for students at a summer when we know that the city and other opportunities aren't going to be fully functioning.
We have just learned that if you're planning to take a summer classes this semester at Hunter, then you may be eligible to receive a summer scholarship up to $450. For more information, you have to contact Financial Aid Office. But don't wait too long, because the last date to apply is May 8th.
Thanks, Sharija. With the coronavirus still spreading, New York City is suspending its door-to-door census outreach and shifting it online until June 1st. So far, only 40% of New York City residents have filled out the census forms, which means the city is in danger of being dramatically undercounted. People can complete the form online and by phone or mail. CUNY helped train 270 students in the Census Corps to engage with hard-to-count neighborhoods. With the campaign moving online, groups like NYPIRG are tweaking their outreach techniques.
We can use things like emails, text, and social media. Social media is a huge new one. We have Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter to get people out there to see it popping up on their feed so they are more aware of it.
New York's presidential primary election has also been postponed until June 23rd, giving voters a little more time to register. You can find out if you are registered to vote at voterlookup.election.ny.gov.
USG elections are right around the corner. And with campus closed, candidates have shifted their campaigns to social media. Students will vote on 35 positions from USG president to residential life commissioner. Afia Emma spoke to this year's presidential candidates about campaigning during the pandemic.
My goal definitely is to bring everybody together.
This is what the 2020 campaign for Student Government President looks like. Current Student Welfare Commissioner Hardeep Bhaskar is running for president with his slate, A Hunter United. It is using Instagram to connect with students every Saturday night.
We did the live because, we wanted to speak to students and have that direct connection where students can ask questions. We plan to do takeovers, do other stuff that we can connect with the student body. So we're all going through the same thing, like quarantine and stuff.
Bhaskar supports another disability lounge, a new LGBTQ center, and gender-neutral bathrooms on campus. Bhaskar's opponent, Adama Chiamaka Obanaya, is also campaigning on social media with her slate, A Hunter Alliance. As the current president of African Student Union, Obanaya and her slate are utilizing Instagram posts and stories.
So now we're rebuilding our new social media. We have graphics on the candidates running for our slate, and then we are planning to have a Q&A session.
Obanaya supports more clubs and diversity on campus. Current USG President Kamalpreet Kaur encourages students to vote because these representatives decide how to spend their student activity fees.
And students should be able to vote as to who they think should govern these allocations. On top of that, students should also be voting for who they think would best represent their issues to administration.
Online voting begins May 4th and lasts until May 7th. Make sure to check your My Hunter email and cast your vote. Afia Ima, Hunter News Now.
Coming up next, we'll take a look at how students are dealing with the stress of COVID-19 and what Hunter is doing to help them.
And we'll talk to a special guest about the mental health crisis and what the government should be doing right now.
We'll be right back.
According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the outbreak of COVID-19 is affecting both our physical and mental health. From college students to the elderly, nearly half of all adults are feeling overwhelmed with emotions like anxiety and sadness, according to the Kaiser Family Foundation poll. Here's a story on how one Hunter College student is coping with the uncertainty and stress.
Anusha Singh lives with 6 people in Brooklyn, her brother, mom and dad, and her grandmother. Earlier this month, her grandfather died from COVID-19, leaving her family in shock.
It's not one of those things that people kind of brush aside as being just another flu or another cold. This is something that's really serious, and if you're not careful enough, it can take someone you love.
Since his death, Anusha has been feeling anxious and finds that keeping busy helps her feel more grounded.
Play games and stuff like that just to make sure that I'm not idle. I'm not just sitting down just waiting for this to be over. I'm still actively living my life as best as I can.
Hunter College offers counseling services to students who are experiencing personal and academic difficulties. The key is to reach out to a trained professional.
People find it hard to talk to a family member about things because they don't want to worry them, and so they keep the problems to themselves because they're trying to be protective of the other person, but they need support. And so they need to find it another way.
Even before the pandemic, anxiety among Gen Z students was so prevalent that Hunter journalism student Melissa Lent is producing a 5-part podcast exploring its causes and solutions for her honors project.
We'll raise awareness about this epidemic right here on the Next Gen podcast.
You feel a lot of expectations to kind of like rise to meet the challenge and push ourselves to succeed no matter the consequence to our own mental health.
The conversation about what consequences the self-isolation period has on mental health is as relevant as ever. Today I spoke with Nirmita Pinchal, one of the Kaiser Family Foundation's policy analysts. I asked her about an update on the mental health poll statistics and what she thinks we can expect in the future.
Our March tracking poll findings showed that people who are sheltering in place were more likely to report a negative mental health impact.
What can we expect? What can we expect if the situation prolongs? If the situation like sheltering in place continues, what kind of like rise in numbers and rise in like statistics can we expect?
So we can expect to see an increase in mental health issues. And this is also a problem because we already have a shortage of mental health providers, and people with serious mental health issues, they are more likely to be uninsured, more likely to not be able to afford mental health care services. And Congress recently authorized some additional funding for mental health and substance abuse services, and some provisions to expand accessing these services through telehealth.
After like all this is over, do you think that the society is going to change in due course after the restrictions are going to be lifted and people can like slowly but surely go back to their normal lives?
So what I can say is that we are continuing to see negative impacts on mental health. Even our most recent polling data showed that now over half of adults are reporting some type of poor mental health effect, and that could be trouble with sleeping, eating, increased alcohol use, and this also seems to be more of a problem for frontline healthcare workers and their families. About 2/3 of frontline healthcare workers and their families reported having these negative mental health effects.
I would just like to thank you for your time, and I hope that you stay safe during this crazy time.
To you, yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ksenia.
Coming up next, our Scholar Athlete of the Week is a track and field star who is an athlete on the field and a student government leader off the field.
And another banner year for our Hunter students when it comes to prestigious scholarships and fellowships. We'll introduce you to some of the winners.
We'll be right back. It's time for some sports news, and Hunter News Now reporter Colleen Digney is here with all the details. Colleen?
Thanks, York. Well, as you all know, the athletic season has come to an abrupt end for our Hunter Hawks. The athletic department is encouraging student athletes to stay physically and mentally strong during distance learning. Coaches are meeting with players once a week for a mental health check, and athletic trainers are motivating students to start their next season even stronger through virtual exercise and meditation classes. Last week, I learned about how both athletes and coaches have transitioned their physical workouts to virtual ones.
Senior pitcher Diana Ferreira has traded her softball training for a virtual high-intensity workout. Although they're not mandatory, she says they help her stay positive.
He always says like little encouraging words. He's like, come on guys, a couple more reps, like you got it. Like just keep pushing because you're almost done.
She participates in 3 high-intensity classes per week and 1 yoga class. All of the classes are streamed live on the Hunter Recreation YouTube channel. Hunter Athletics strength and conditioning coach encourages both students and athletes to participate in the workouts.
One of our biggest goals is to show the students, athletes, and the general population that despite not having all the things that they have in a regular gym, they can still get a very good workout.
The Hawks are about to come online and work out with me.
Edem starts the workouts at 3 p.m. because it's the same time they always held practice before the lockdown. He says students should maintain the routine as much as possible. Mental health professionals agree that in this time of uncertainty, sticking to a schedule can be beneficial.
Everything's just totally out of our control. So for someone to have that structure and a daily schedule, it gives you some type of control, because right now you just don't have any.
Harrington says any form of physical activity like a walk or jog can stimulate your mind and body. As for Faria, she misses seeing her teammates in person, but she's grateful to work out with them for the rest of the season. And we still have one Scholar Athlete of the Week to introduce you to. Earlier this semester, we met up with the track and field team star thrower, Hardik Bhaskar. At the season's opening meet, he took first place in the shot put, set a new personal record, and then came in third place in the CUNY AC Championships in both shot put and weight throw. Rakita Harizai spent some time with Bhaskar to see how he balances his athletics, academics, and USG responsibilities.
Track is more of an individual sport, so it's like really like trying to fight with yourself when you're competing. You gotta set goals for yourself, and like you gotta, like achieve the goals by yourself, and like nobody's like helping you out. It's more you working on yourself and continuing to work on yourself. I'm competing against other people, and like it's a one-on-one like competition, and the support system that's there when you're with the team is not technically there. I'm Hardik Bhaskar. I'm part of the track and field team, and I'm a thrower. I throw the shot put and the discus, javelin, and the hammer. I initially started on track in high school, freshman year, and then I just carried it on throughout college. For me, distance is important, so when I throw an implement, it's like you have to hit a certain distance. So every week you have a goal that you have to set for yourself. You try to achieve that goal through like your workouts, your practices, and it's like you got to mentally prepare yourself that like you're alone out there on the field competing. I'm the student welfare commissioner, so I'm on the executive board of USG. I'm also part of the academic senate here and the senate in general. To balance the both can be tough in the sense because they both require time commitment, but I think having those two things there pushes me to actually manage my time better. Track team, yes, it's an individual sport, like track itself is an individual sport, but it's also a team sport in the sense that your team is there to support you. That's why it's more of an individual sport, but the team spirit is what gets you through it. Some days you're just down and like your teammates come over like, yo, what's up? Like, do you need help with something? And you just, it kind of like helps you, get back up. Like I joined track not to just have a community, but it also like helps me stay fit. It's like, it's kind of like, it like pushes me, like something that drives me to do better and like just push myself. And like, it's also a discipline thing. Like it helps discipline me. That's pretty big.
Unfortunately, Bhaskar was just beginning his training for outdoor track and field before the season was canceled due to coronavirus. Hopefully, he'll get another chance next year as a senior. That's it for our sports report. Back to you, Brian in York.
Thanks, Colleen. But before you go, we want to take this opportunity to congratulate you on winning the Pulitzer Fellowship for International Reporting.
Congrats, Colleen.
Thank you guys so much. Yeah, I'm super, super excited about it.
How do you feel to win?
Feels a little surreal. I just cannot wait until I'm finally able to go and to be able to travel there.
Well, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Colleen isn't the only Hunter student to win a big award. More than 30 students have won top scholarships and fellowships this year. including 4 Fulbright and 2 Lodge Scholars. Chanel Thompson has more on what it takes for these students to win these prestigious honors.
Surreal, sort of in disbelief.
That's Saif Zahiri, a 2019 Hunter grad who won the Luce Scholarship and will travel to Indonesia to study extremism.
And so I'm really interested in studying sort of extremism and counter-extremism strategies. I applied because I was encouraged to apply.
And he's just one of many student winners. Senior journalism major Colleen Digney just won the Pulitzer Fellowship for International Reporting. With her grant, she'll be traveling to Vietnam to produce a story about removing landmines left over from the Vietnam War.
And I just remember that feeling after I saw it and was like, wow, this is like such a serious issue. And so I knew that more people need to know about it and hear about it.
Hunter has had a banner year when it comes to prestigious scholarships and fellowships, with students winning the Luce, Fulbright, the Benjamin A. Gilman Scholarship, the Ford, and the Jonas E. Salk Scholarship. Director of Prestigious Scholarships, Stephen Lasson, says it's all about recruiting students and then preparing them.
The talent has always been there. I've said this before. So it's really quite exciting to see students for whom it would never occur to apply for a scholarship actually winning these life-changing awards.
Students interested in applying for next year's scholarship should begin preparing now and fill out a form at the Office of Prestigious Scholarships website. Chanel Thompson, Hunter News Now.
Coming up next, some pointers from a celebrity makeup artist on how to look your best at Zoom meetings and online classes.
And during this pandemic, it may be difficult to stay positive, but we have some TikTok reels produced by fellow Hunter students to lighten your mood. Stay tuned. Whether you're in class, on Zoom, or FaceTiming with friends and family, many of us are now on camera. Fortunately, Manhattan celebrity makeup artist Rami Gafni visited our studio news production class before the shutdown to share his tips for looking your best on screen. As Janet Hernandez reports, getting camera ready can be quick and easy.
And I have a great hack for that.
Hunter's Journalism Lab became a beauty salon when Rami Gaffney gave one lucky student a full makeover as he taught the class how to apply high-definition makeup.
Everyone you see on camera has makeup on. Otherwise, you look washed out and you don't look right on camera.
Journalism major Orkita Harizai anchored our first remote newscast and said she kept Rami's tips in mind when preparing for the show.
Rami said that a little pop of color would be nice on camera, so I decided to do a little bit of a stronger lipstick so that it didn't wash me out.
For people who want to apply makeup at home for Zoom meetings, Rami recommends multi-purpose products that are fast and easy to use. Just 2 to 3 products can give a more defined look.
Even if it doesn't have to be the full shebang, do a little bit of something just to play up your features and feel polished.
Reporters like News 12's Emily Lorsch says she has extra time getting ready at home, but can wear less makeup.
So I'll kind of use that extra time that I normally would be on the subway for an hour, that maybe I will touch up my makeup better, or I will curl my hair when I might not always have time to curl my hair at work.
Rami suggests using mascara to open the eyes, his own makeup lens convertible color on the eyes, cheeks, and lips, and even eyeliner or eyeshadow. Most importantly, Rami says to do anything that makes you feel good, and you'll be all set. Jeanette Hernandez, Hunter News Now.
If you are struggling to keep yourself entertained during the lockdown, you are not alone and may want to channel your inner child.
Start the letters.
Hunter senior Jeanette Vasquez has rekindled her love of game night to stay entertained and distract herself from the stressful pandemic.
Since I have younger siblings, we just try to play board games or card games or just watch anything on Netflix or Hulu. So just watching more TV.
Jeanette's favorite games are puzzles that keep her brain working while she's having fun.
TikTok is one of the most popular social media platforms with 800 million active users creating fun videos to share around the world. Our news team is getting in on the action to take their minds off the stress and lockdown. Here are a few of my favorites so far. Thank you to the team for contributing these very funny videos. Well, that was funny now, wasn't it, Brian?
Whew, totally. It was hilarious.
Thank you for tuning into this edition of Hunter News Now.
See you guys next time.